Peace be with you. Welcome to another edition of Let the Quran Speak. My name is Sophia. I'm your host. The Quran mentions repeatedly the people of the book. We'll be looking today at what that actually means. Who do the people of the book refer to, and what does the Quran have to say about them? Also, Islam and asceticism. What is asceticism, and what does Islam perceive of in relation to asceticism? Here with us today, Brother Shabir Ali from the Islamic Information Center. Brother Shabir, welcome to Let the Quran Speak.
Pleasure to be on.
Now, the verse that we're dealing with to begin with is from Surah 14, it's verse 22, and it speaks about Satan's promise. What is Satan's promise to humankind?
Well, this is not specified in the verse itself, but from elsewhere in the Quran, we know that Satan made a pledge with God that he is, or in a way threatened or declared himself arrogantly, that he is going to build up the hopes of human beings such that they will turn away from God. He would lead them away from the worship of the one God. Mm-hmm. So what we know more generally is that Satan builds up the hopes of human beings for a long life in this world, and ultimately that they will have good of the sort that they know of in this life forever, regardless of whether they worship God or not. So he promises them immortality together with immorality.
Mm-hmm. And somehow, ultimately, at the end, when perhaps Judgment Day or some ending point, he's going to reveal that he's deceived humankind.
Yes, when the final judgment is made and God reveals his power and his control over the final destiny of human beings, that is when people will realize, without Satan having to admit it, people will realize that Satan has beguiled them, and Satan himself will now confess, I made a promise to you, and that was a false promise. God has made a promise to you, that was the true promise. But Satan also defends himself against blame, because now people know the score, and they begin to blame Satan. You are the one who misled us. Mm-hmm. But Satan's response to that is, do not blame me, but blame yourselves. The extent of my work was only that I gave you this promise, and you obeyed, you followed. Mm-hmm. So don't blame me, blame yourselves. And in the end, even if you were to blame Satan, Satan says, I am not able to respond to your cries, nor would you be able to respond to my cries. Mm-hmm. And certainly for the wrongdoers, there is a painful punishment.
So Satan is saying, I have no authority over you. You know, you're responsible for yourselves.
Yes, he didn't have any authority on human beings in this life, nor does he have any ability to help them in the life hereafter. And it is important to remember that in this life, because sometimes people say, I couldn't help myself, I couldn't control, I couldn't stop what I was doing because Satan was causing me to do that. Well, mm-hmm. Satan doesn't cause us to do anything. Satan can only whisper thoughts into our minds, and it is up to us then either to follow those devilish whisperings or to listen to the divine inspiration.
Mm-hmm. So in the verse, Satan also seems to be saying, well, I reject acts of associating others with God. What is that about?
Yes, it says, I reject that which you used to associate with me. Okay. So people associate things with Satan. People say that Satan has done this or Satan has done that, or Satan is capable of this or capable of that. But in the end, Satan is denying all of that. He's saying that you associated all of that with me, but that's not me. I'm not capable of doing all of that. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the evil that people blame on Satan really should come back to them. It is they themselves who have followed Satan and have done evil. So in the end, Satan just tries to free himself from blame in this way.
How real is Satan? Could he be seen as just a personification of internal evil within people?
One has to see the context, how something is mentioned in the Quran. I remember reading in the tafsir of Imam al-Razi a mention of Satan, and in one context, and he says that this is the way people speak. It's not necessarily that Satan has done this, okay. But people say, Satan has done something. That does not mean that he's not real. Of course, there would be circumstances in which there is a real evil being who is referred to as Satan, who does, in fact, try to mislead people away from God's path.
But the notion of a singular being in this world named Satan, how...
In fact, it's not just one being. There are a number of them.
Okay.
From among the jinn kind. We know human beings because we see them. We know of angels because of God's revelation telling us about the existence of angels. Mm-hmm. Well, the revelation also speaks about jinn. And they're not as frequently mentioned as angels are, and not as well described as are angels. And so this is open to a certain degree of speculation. Who are the jinn kind and what are they capable of doing? Satan seems to have been one of the angels, and in that case, the jinns would have to be one of a certain type of angels. This is at least the way in which Imam Jalaluddin as-Suyuti tries to make sense of the verse of the Quran which says that God commanded the angels to bow down to Adam, mm-hmm. and all bowed down except for Satan. So to him, jinns are a certain type of angel. Mm-hmm. In the Bible, we hear of fallen angels. So perhaps Satan is from among a certain class of jinns who were again a certain type of angels, mm-hmm. and he disobeyed God's commandments. But sometimes he's spoken about in the singular, and sometimes there's a mention of plural, shayateen, satans, devils. Yes, we believe that they are real.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Thank you, Brother Sabir. We'll take a break. When we return, what the Quran says about the people of the book.